The iPad Pro, an interesting device that sits in a weird place in the market. It's also my first iPad. This is a review of the iPad Pro 9.7 with an Apple Pencil. Physically, the tablet has one port, the Lightning port, which is used for data and power. If you need anything else off the device, you'll need an adapter or transfer wirelessly via AirDrop or pulling from the cloud. The device is very premium feeling, as Apple is known for. It has some heft, but is lighter than a pound, so it definitely is easy to carry around. The iPad Pro has 4 speakers, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. The stereo speakers are surprisingly good for its size. I was impressed by the amount of bass it puts out, and the audio in general sounds much more full than its size would imply. Speakers are notably better than the Razer Blade Stealth speakers, which is kind of sad because the Stealth is a laptop. The Selfie cam is pretty decent at 5 megapixels, 720p video recording, using the screen's brightness as a flash. The rear camera is 12 megapixels and is pretty nice as well, with 4K 30 FPS capability and slow-mo settings. Physically, the rear camera has a camera bump. It doesn't cause the device to rock when laid flat on the surface and drawing and whatnot, but it does make me feel nervous about scratching a lens when I put it on there without any kind of case. I don't think a rear camera on the iPad is worth justifying the camera bump, but that's just my opinion. I'm not an iPad photographer. The processor is very snappy. The A9 processor feels like everything Apple claims. Every other reviewer went on and on about the processor and did benchmarks, and so I'll just leave it at this. The processor is something you will never notice. You'll never once think about, man, this device is getting super slow. Man, this device just doesn't, it's not able to keep up with what I want it to do. It'll do everything you want it to do from the App Store, including games and even some video editing, all of that kind of stuff. It's plenty fast enough. You won't have to worry about it. Apple claims it's faster than most Ultrabooks at the time of its release. Whether I believe that or not, who cares? It's a mobile device. It can handle mobile tasks. As far as peripherals go, I didn't get the keyboard because, well, honestly, it didn't fit the role I wanted the iPad to play in my workflow. So I can't really speak to how nice the keyboard is, other than that it connects to a specialized port powered by the iPad. The Apple Pencil is, well, okay. And for those of you who don't like the Apple Pencil or don't care about the Apple Pencils, go ahead and skip forward because I've got quite a bit to say about it. Here we go. So I've used the Surface Pro 3 and 4 stylus, and those are generally significantly better in my opinion. Now, first off, the Apple Pencil must be plugged into the iPad to pair via Bluetooth, and it looks like a lollipop. Kinda lame. It also can be charged using the iPad like a lollipop, or using an adapter. If you turn off the Bluetooth, the stylus stops working altogether and must be repaired when Bluetooth is turned back on the iPad. Which means this is not a passively active stylus, if that makes sense. It's not passively powered by the display. You have to have the Bluetooth on for this to work at all whatsoever, which is kind of lame. The pencil is a good length for artists and has a weighty feel to it. The pencil's texture, however, is extremely thick and it's kind of uncomfortable to use at times when my fingers are sliding around as I try to apply a bit more pressure. The Apple Pencil and the iPad Pro feel like they were designed by 2 very different departments that didn't really communicate that much. I say this because the actual experience of writing on the screen with the pencil isn't good at all. Unlike the Surface line of pens that glide smoothly across the screen, the Apple Pencil feels like it isn't supposed to be used on this screen. I can say that the pencil feels decidedly better than when attempting to use it on pretty much any other tablet than the iPad Pro. I think it's the display they use. It feels like scratching when writing, and it makes this horrible, horrible noise when doing more aggressive sketches. Now, I don't know how other reviewers left this out. It's 100% a deal breaker for me. It's like writing on a chalkboard with that harder, cheap chalk that makes that same whining noise that you just heard. I expected more from Apple in their attention to detail, to be honest. It is cool, however, how the software interacts with the hardware that allows the Apple Pencil's angle to be tracked and to have different effects. The pressure sensitivity is also a good thing. If it weren't for the horrible pen-to-screen feel and that deal-breaking noise it makes, it'd be a compelling option. Now for the real interesting parts. Apple boldly markets this device as a supercomputer, implying it's not just a laptop replacement, but more powerful even. But can it replace a laptop? Well, I think it depends on how you define laptop. If all you need are a slimmed down office suite for the most basic writing and presentations for something like, I don't know, if you're a blogger or a high school student, then this works. This device is also good for on-the-go artists to get some work done or push out a nice rough draft and initial design before you go and throw it into an actual desktop application. But if you need any desktop applications or enjoy copious amounts of multitasking beyond a few split windows or serious Chrome tabs, or if you're a serious gamer, then no, this cannot replace your laptop. It can't have multiple monitors unless without some expensive peripherals. You're not going to have more than one application on your screen at the same time, and not even all apps support the split screen. So you'd have to use mostly Apple apps for this kind of feature, which is fine for most, but for me, I use most of the time Microsoft applications, so that was not good. So at the end of the day, this cannot replace my laptop. It does not do well as an in-between mobile solution, and other than being a consumer device, it kind of falls flat for me. Given the horrific material clashes with the pencil, I only see this device being good for people who want to use an iPad for entertainment purposes and still be able to switch to light productivity on the same super mobile device. To everyone else, there are better and or cheaper options than this device. I hope this helps you understand where the iPad Pro might fit into your workflow. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to see more content coming your way.